Hi everyone, welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Today we're going to be talking about a subject which many men find it hard to talk about: mental health. We here at Newcastle Fans TV are extremely proud to help the Newcastle United Foundation campaign Be a Game Changer. Let's stop the stigma. Let's talk about mental health. Every year, Newcastle Fans TV helped charities. We've helped hospices, we've helped the Sir Bobby Robson Foundation 2 years running, and we've also helped the Bradley Lowry Foundation. This year, we want men to open up. There's a statistic in the North East that the North East has the biggest suicide rates amongst young men. That needs to change. We need men to open up about their feelings. Recently we lost Danny Thorpe, a die-hard Newcastle fan, goes to home and away games. Sadly took his life last Friday. His family and friends are absolutely torn. If we can get one person, just one person, opening up this summer, that'll be good enough for us. So the plans that Newcastle Fans TV are going to be doing, and we're going to be helping the Newcastle United Foundation raise the awareness of Be a Game Changer. So firstly, me and Kyle popped into St. James's Park last week, chatting to the foundation a little bit about ourselves and also how we can help Be a Game Changer. We went to the pitch side, had photos taken to help promote it. We had Ollie in our radio show just on Sunday. More on that in a moment. He talks about some of the fantastic work that the foundation do. Some incredible work goes on that you don't really see. We would like to promote that and show that some part of the club you can be proud of being a supporter through the club's charity. We've also filmed Man vs Fat. It's to try and help men lose weight by playing the sport that they love, which is football. We filmed that in North Tyneside. You'll see more on that on the channel in the next few days. Trust me, it's a good laugh. Get involved in it. If you are looking to lose weight, you should get yourselves involved in that Man vs Fat. Like myself, with helping the Newcastle United Foundation, me personally, I would like to lose about a stone, maybe stone and a half. I want to get to around about the 12 and a half stone mark. I'm going to be vlogging my ups and downs throughout losing weight. Trust me, it's hard to lose weight, as anyone knows. I've proven in the past that I can lose weight quite easily, but I've also proven I can also put it on. It's all about your mindset, and it's also feeling about good inside and also outside. We're also going to be going back to St. James's Park, with a few of us talking and opening up about mental health. It'll be intriguing and interesting to see who amongst Newcastle Fans TV will open up. And also we want to encourage people to open up. It's okay not to be okay. It could be anything to do with trolls. It could be about how you feel. It could be about stress, anxiety, depression, anything. We want to help at least just one person. And the big one, which I know a lot of the lads are really excited about, is we're going to be playing in an awareness match to raise the profile of Be a Game Changer from a Sunderland's point of view and also a Newcastle point of view. We're going to be playing in the backyard of Sunderland in the Academy of Light against SAFC Fan TV. It's going to be exciting. If you want to come down on the day, let us know. We'll get you involved amongst the fans. Hey, will me even get me involved in somehow? Speaking of getting involved, anybody who's feeling down right now, even watching this video, or even next week, or even the week after, we're going to be looking at opening up a little support group on Facebook. We're not experts. We're not going to tell you what's right, what's wrong. We're there to listen, and it's going to be a private group, so your opinions can be shared with other people who suffer and they need someone to talk to. They might not be able to open up to the partner, to the daughter, to the mum, to the friend, the work colleague. It might need a stranger like ourselves. Again, if we can help one person, that's enough for us. As I touched upon earlier on, Danny Thorpe sadly took his own life last week. Mad Newcastle fan. And then one thing I loved about watching the radio show back on Sunday was Kyle's passionate opening in the radio show. We put it on the socials, and to be honest, Kyle couldn't have put that any better. It was absolutely brilliant. I want us to look at this and remember, you can open up.
Danny, who followed Newcastle home and away, they hit social media quite hard in terms of hashtag NUFC in any way. It was with like a tragic loss that Danny had committed suicide and took his own life on the Friday. And obviously the club had acknowledged this and says the win on Saturday was for him, which was very heartwarming from them to take that into consideration. But this is it's very hard hitting, obviously for Newcastle fans, and we don't unite about many things, but this is one thing that we're able to collectively have the same opinion about, and it's really sad. It says to the person who set up the GoFundMe page for the family of Danny, who probably distraught and in anguish from this, and I can only send my condolences, and I think everybody from this table would share that. But I didn't know Danny personally, but I can see from the reviews on social media and people trying to sum him up as a bloke. He was a very down to earth bloke, followed Newcastle, loved Newcastle home and away, loved the team, and it's another case where the stigma around mental health, and honestly it would really pain me personally if there was someone listening or watching this show that felt anything close to what Danny did, and this is what we need to start talking about. I know lads up here generally have quite a stubborn attitude and don't let their emotions go as much because they're kind of embarrassed to, but I urge you, please talk to someone, anyone, whether it be a GP, whether it be a friend, whether it be a family member, anything that, or even the Newcastle Foundation and Ollie and his team that we'll have on today's show. It's just a case of talking to someone regardless, because these things are so much better when they're out in the open. And I know it might come across as embarrassing, it might come across as a form of weakness, but the hashtag it's okay not to be okay stands very true for me, and it's something that we do need to tackle together, and it's something that we need to be united on front, whether you're male, female, anything. It doesn't matter. If you've got a mental problem and it's on the mind all the time, it's something that you need to get help with, and without any embarrassment. Nobody will judge you. There are things in place to help with situations like that, and I'm glad it has been brought to light. Not in the best circumstances, it hasn't been brought to the best light, but at least there's support and that things around it now.
Some powerful words by Kyle, brilliantly put, brilliantly well spoken. Kyle, very proud, because he could have wobbled, he could have been upset, and he's really passionate and thorough about that. And it's okay to wobble. And the last thing I would like to bring up is we had Ollie in the radio show on Sunday as well. Ollie's going to be talking about some of the fantastic work which I've already mentioned briefly early on in the video, what the foundation do. There's so many that you actually couldn't name them all. 10-minute long. I urge you, if you are feeling down or you know somebody who is feeling down, this may help.
So we're the charity that runs alongside of the football club. So we walk round dressed like me, so if anybody's watching through the live stream, I'm dressed in a full Newcastle kit, and we basically go out into the community and do various different things with various different people. So we work with about 60,000 people across the North East a year, so that goes from Berwick down to County Durham, and then all the way across from Carlisle to the coast as well. So we've got a big footprint, and what we do within those areas, obviously we do the bread and butter, which is football, so we go out and do various different football courses and things like that. I'm sure everybody remembers doing those as kids, and in summer holidays when we would go and play some football. That's kind of what we do quite a lot of. But we work in schools, we work in youth offending institutes, we work with people who are not in education or employment and try and get them closer to the job market. And we work with older adults as well, and that's kind of where my area of work comes in. I'm health and wellbeing manager at the foundation, so we do, or the majority of our work is in mental health, and that is under the bracket, or the Be a Game Changer campaign is the big part of my work. So Be a Game Changer is very much this social media, online mental health campaign designed to try and change the conversations and the cultures around mental health. Because as you were just alluding to at the beginning of this chat, and you summed it up perfectly as well, is that if we can try and change the culture, the way of which we think about mental health in the North East, and I suppose traditionally or historically we've probably thought of mental health as being something that we shouldn't talk about and we should hide from, and it would be thought of as a weakness, and we know that's not the case whatsoever.
No.
We also know that if we can change people's opinions on that, and if we can start to destigmatise certain people's ideas around mental health, that might encourage some people to talk more about their emotions and the feelings and the way that they're acting and the behaving, and that might help them also seek a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Just kind of touching on a few of the things that you've mentioned around the stadium, what we do and what we do in health and what we do in mental health and things. So I mentioned this Be a Game Changer campaign, and that's very much an umbrella. So underneath that umbrella sit various different projects, and one of them is the Man v Fat programme, which is how you and Sunderland Football TV have got together.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. So Man v Fat is basically a weight loss league for men who have a BMI greater than 27.5. Big scientific word, Google it and you'll try and pop other search engines and you'll work out what a BMI is, but that's basically designed to try and help people lose a little bit of weight while using a little bit of football. So that comes underneath the Be a Game Changer banner. We also go out into workplaces and we go out into businesses and we take what we call a toolkit. So we go to places like North Shields Football Club and we go to businesses like Sinton's Law and various different ones around the city and around the North East, and we deliver presentations and talks and try and quash some of the stigmas around mental health and some of the misconceptions as well, and trying to get over some common things which we hear on a daily basis.
Of course.
And try and do that. We also run workshops like sleep and stress workshops, which we deliver in the community, and sometimes they occur at St James's Park too. But I suppose the sessions which you mentioned, which run from St James's Park, include things like we do mental health first aid. Yeah. Which, if nobody's ever heard of, is basically the mental equivalent of physical first aid. So, as a football coach, you will do your physical first aid through the FA, and that will teach you how to put a plaster on somebody if they fall over.
Yeah.
Now, if we fall over in life and we get cuts and bumps and bruises, surely we get the mental equivalents of those things as well. So,
of course,
mental health first aid is basically a tool to try and help people who get those mental cuts and bumps and bruises. We also run things like we've got a programme called 12th Man, which is a 12-week health and wellbeing programme designed for men aged between 30 and 65 who want to try and make some sort of health difference to their life. They might not be feeling too great, they might not be very confident in their appearance, they want to look a little bit better, or they might just want to meet some more people. And the first 3 weeks of that 12-week programme is based at St James's Park as well.
Okay.
So we do various different things. So I suppose the point of me rambling on is that if people are interested in these things, follow us on our social media channels.
Of course.
Search for Newcastle United Foundation. Search our web pages as well, and we will update those when these things are. I grew up in York. I don't know if you can tell by my accent. I still like to hope I stick to my Yorkshire roots, so I think I've still got a little bit of Yorkshire in my accent.
We'll give a shout out there for all the Yorkshire folk from America and a Yorkshire lass who will be listening right now, so big shout out to Yorkshire.
There we go. Glad we worked that one in. So I grew up in York and then went to university, and when I was at university at Northumbria, I started working at the foundation and I worked in schools. So we've got huge school teams. We work in, I think it's a third of the schools in the North East. The foundation have a bit of an input in there, so that's what I did for about 3 years. And then the kind of mental health thing arose, and I was asked if I wanted to take that opportunity to go and work on the mental health thing. And my background was very much sports science and physical health based. And so I didn't really know much about mental health, and I wouldn't claim to be an expert now. But it was interesting going from learning how to keep myself physically fit. I knew how to keep myself physically fit through diet and through exercise, but I'd never ever acknowledged my mental health. So after stumbling into that, I started to realise, hang on a minute, maybe I've neglected my mental health over the years, and maybe there have been certain events in my life which have occurred, and I could have been prepared better or looked after myself better. And this isn't necessarily going and seeking professional help, but it could have been things like exercising a little bit more, or doing some sort of mindfulness, or taking up a hobby or a craft or something like that to try and detract your mind from everyday issues which we all suffer with. So that's kind of how I stumbled into the mental health thing. And it's good fun. I love it. Newcastle United Foundation are currently fundraising for a capital build, which is based on Pitt Street. So if you know the area, or if you know the Earl of Pitt Street,
Yeah, of course.
We're in the North East, so if you mention a pub, people know where that is.
Yeah,
street names. So there's a building behind there called Murray House. The council, a year or 2 years ago, gave us the keys to Murray House.
Right.
And our plans are to, as of the summer of this year, start to knock that down and rebuild it with a purpose-built Newcastle United Foundation Sports Centre. From there, we will deliver various different projects, working with young people, with people who are not in education or employment, and try and get them closer to the job market, through to the health-based stuff, which we do as well. So we're very much going to grow. We have to grow. We're going to get bigger and bigger, and hopefully we're going to try and change more lives. We've already got some great case studies, and we've worked with some amazing people over the past 12 years of being Newcastle United Foundation, from working with people who have been homeless, who have been on the streets, getting them closer to the job market, to the point where they're working in Slady Hall as a chef. There's a guy who won that award. One of our awards do. We work with disabilities, various different disabilities. We've got various different disability sports, which we work alongside as well, and there's some great case studies there. So for me, where are we in the next 5 years? Hopefully we scale those things up. Hopefully we make more of an impact, and I think it's really important that we can do that, because we're lucky enough to live in a region where Newcastle United or football is so sought after. We're so proud about Newcastle United. I mean, the club is 126, 27 years old now, which means that you guys who grew up here in the North East, I would imagine, have parents and grandparents and great-grandparents.
It's definitely religion of
who spent probably 6 days a week grafting, really, really working quite hard, and then on the 7th day of the week, they probably went to St James's Park and watched 11 people kick a ball about. And that pride and passion has been brought down through the generations, to the point where we've now got people who would do quite a lot of things for the badge. So we can walk into the community dressed like me and have conversations with people who otherwise wouldn't have those conversations with anybody else. And that might be somebody who is suffering from mental illnesses, or might be struggling with their mental health, and they are refusing to go to the NHS or go to your traditional health services or your traditional health programs, but they love Newcastle United, so they will come and they will talk to people who are dressed like me. So
of course.
We do nearly 50 programmes, so I'm sure I've missed loads of things. So I would relish the opportunity to explain more. I don't know whether or not people would be interested. I think that's a great example, you and Sunderland TV linking up together, because you're demonstrating perfectly that this issue, mental illnesses and mental health issues, go beyond football. They go beyond the red and white or the black and white stripes of our local teams. And I mean, you wouldn't think twice about doing or being best mates with somebody from Sunderland most of the time. That I would imagine. As I said, I'm not from the region, but going and raising money for something like Be a Game Changer, #Be a Game Changer, is a perfect demonstration of how you've put aside rivalries to try and raise money and awareness of such.
You're right. At the end of the day, it's illness, whatever shape or form, doesn't know whether it's black or white, red and white.
Doesn't discriminate, does it?
Exactly. It's all different types of people, personalities, walks of life, and everything. And anything that we can do, to raise that profile. I've previously worked in schools, and I've seen some of the problems and issues that it can have on children, it can have on families. So it's just fantastic, the work that you're doing. It's really appreciated.
Thank you. We appreciate this support as well, because there'll be people listening who have never heard of the foundation before. So you're enabling us to reach to a wider audience, and there might be somebody sat there who's never heard of the foundation, never heard of me, who might be going through a couple of hard times, and they might be thinking, oh, hang on a minute, I could do with a little bit of help. On Wednesdays between 6 PM and 8 PM, we run a peer support group, a men's peer support group for anybody who might be struggling with any sort of issues in their life. So that might be, they might be going through grief, they might be going through financial times, they might just had a bad day. And we open that up to anybody. We hire a box within the stadium looking out over the pitch, hopefully subject to whether or not there are other things going on in the stadium. But every Wednesday between 6 PM and 8 PM, it's called Away In. That name was chosen by the people. It was a little bit like voting on vote Facebook. That's open up to anybody, so there might be somebody sat there listening going, well, what can you do for me now? Come along on a Wednesday between 6 PM and 8 PM, we'll have a chat.
Thank you for watching. Please help us raise awareness. Be a game changer. Let's talk about mental health. Bye bye.